If you have a cell phone, please turn it off or put it on silence because it disturbs the service when it's going on if it goes off. Our special music today is something we look forward to all year long, Rick and the Bells.
Yay!
And our at-one-minute reader is Melanie Hollis. Melanie?
I like it, Anne, when you're the pulpit assistant because the mic is just my mic. Thank you. Dear God, now do I silently and expectantly await your presence. Truly, you are always with me, but I'm not always aware of your presence. I would learn to feel and perceive and rejoice at your presence constantly. So it is not truly your presence for which I now await. It's my own realization of it. Sometimes I'm too busy with trivial, outer things to be aware of you. Often I think I have to solve things in my own way and by my own wit, and how foolish I am to think that I can do anything at all without you. Now, in silence, I let the problems fade from my mind. I put aside doubt and fear and chagrin at my falling short of what I expect of myself. I seek to enter deeply into my own center of being. It is there at my own center that I am able to be most aware of your presence. I feel your love surrounding me. I am renewed by your strength. I am guided by your wisdom. I follow Jesus Christ, who knew your presence so clearly and constantly, and I walk now in the way towards sonship. Most precious dear God, I feel your presence and I give thanks always.
Please rise for our first hymn, number 34, The First Noel. We will sing verses 1, 2, and 4. That's hymn number 34, 1, 2, and 4.
So today, I light the candle of hope, candle of faith. And today's candle, we're calling this the third Sunday of Advent. Everyone else in the Christian world will call us heathens, I'm sure. According to the regular Christian calendar, we're actually off a Sunday. So, but we don't really care, do we? Because we are allowed to do what we find is prudent for our spiritual faith. So today I'll be talking about joy. And let's say our statement of being together, please, in the order of service. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and am ever one with His perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Thank you. Rick.
Make no guarantees.
Yeah.
The room this cold, I can't tell you what my hands will do with the music. We've got way more bells out than we've got people, so help yourself, double up if you wish. I'm going to pass all these around. If they don't all get handed out, that's fine.
Pick two.
You done bells with us?
Not yet.
Have a bell and what's who?
Pick two. Take two, they're small. Yeah, okay. Take another one. Oh, you have two, never mind.
Yeah.
You guys got two each? Oh, you want different ones? So you're shaking your head. Catholic.
Jane, you got a slow.
You knew it was right.
Oh,
Oh, I didn't know you guys did. I'm sorry. I know. You can be the only ones that know. No,
These two fingers grasp.
take more than one. Come on, people. Is that just too much for you? Okay. Everybody else want two? It might be a little too much to ask this early in the morning, right?
Did you get that?
Hold on a minute. That's the one.
Oh, there you
So there might be one or two of you that have not done bells. Most everybody has. You know that the idea is when you see your color, ring your bell. And this one moves kind of quickly. This is
Oh,
the light blue, not just
And you
green.
probably have to turn me down.
This is the light blue. Can I hear the light blue? That's it. All right. Red, whether you've got the black or not, just ring. There you go. And that's the dark blue. Wait a minute.
Not dark
Can I
blue?
do it again?
That is.
What do we have? Two of you?
Pam's got a blue.
Okay.
One blue.
How about the purple? Can you read the purple? Wait a minute. Let's make sure you can read it on here. That's the purple.
Yeah.
Looks pink to me.
It does. That's why I checked it out. Did a
Gangsta,
color
watch
check.
out.
Colorblind or not, we're going to do this. Okay.
Maestro.
And a two.
I go home now?
Where's you at?
No, that's fine.
Well, hang on to your bell, we'll do another one after he gets his message.
Well, that was exuberant.
Wait for that all year.
We do. It's such a favorite. Everybody loves it. Okay, Jan, you probably might want to. I got you on. I can't. Oh, can I hear myself? No.
Oh, you turned on? Up there?
Let me check. Yes, I am. Well, the green light is showing.
There you are.
Okay,
on.
see, yeah, there we
You're
go.
on.
All right. So after that exuberance, which was just so fun, and we waited for all year long, now we're going to actually slow down and meditate. So everybody just relax. Now Rick moves from bells to piano. Thank you. Thank you, Wanda. Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to ask you to get comfortable now. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing that. And even if you did not put someone's name in the box, it's fine. Just hold that person in your heart, or those people, those situations, knowing that everything you hear today during this meditation is also for those people. It does not matter if they're directly here with us, if they are in your thoughts, then they are reaping the same benefit as you are, sitting right here in the sanctuary with us. So let's just keep in mind also that these words are for people in countries where there are wars going on. That these words are also for the leaders of all the countries and all the nations in the world. And for all of those who are homeless, for all of those who hunger. We say, be still and know that I am God. I am still in thy presence, O God of my being. I am quiet and I am peaceful, for I put my trust in thee. A great stillness steals over me, and a great calm quiets my whole being as I realize thy presence. My heart knows of thee, O Most High, within. It is still in thy presence, and my soul puts its whole confidence in thee alone. Take a deep breath and let it out. Smile to yourself. Joy has come to live with me. How can I be sad? I love thy presence, God of my being, which is joy within me. It makes me glad, and I sing, for I am so filled with thy spirit that I cannot be depressed nor unhappy. I am filled with the joy of spirit, and I overflow with the gladness of life itself. Thou art a happy companion to travel with me through life, O God of my being. Wonderful joy thou art, so radiant and beaming. It is impossible to be sad in thy presence. I shall give myself to thee and remain with thee, for thou art complete and satisfying. I find fulfillment and joy forever in thee. I am filled with the joy of spirit. Let us be quiet for just a moment within ourselves, contemplating the joy of our hearts. while we are still, let us pray together the way Jesus taught his disciples. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed is thy name. Thy kingdom is come, thy will is done, on earth as it is in heaven. Thou givest us this day our daily bread. Thou forgivest us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Thou leadest us not into temptation, but dost deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Was anybody smiling during that quiet part?
Yeah.
Good. Good. That's wonderful. Okay, so today my short talk is called You Are Under the God Spell. Webster's Dictionary defines joy as the emotion evoked by well-being, success, or good fortune, or by the prospect of possessing what one desires. Or maybe even they would call it delight. Joy would be described as gaiety or bliss. So if we look at the word happiness in Merriam-Webster, it says good fortune, prosperity, a state of being well and contented. And they also cite joy. So joy and happiness are connected. So, but we know that this idea of joy that is in the dictionary, defined by a dictionary, is more than that. Ernest Holmes, the Science of Mind founder, says that joy is the emotion excited by the expectancy of our good. He also uses the word gladness, delight, exaltation. These are like really fun words. I like them. Charles Fillmore, who is the founder of Unity, in his book called The Revealing Word, which gives metaphysical definitions to different words that we may be using in our spiritual discussions, he says, joy is the happiness of God expressed through the idea of man. Joy and gladness are strength-giving, especially if the mind is fixed on things of spirit. I think we've all heard this little phrase, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Let's say that together. The joy of the Lord is my strength. That just even feels good to say it, doesn't it? It's very life-affirming. It's very joy-affirming. It's very spirit-affirming. The French theologian Henri Nouwen says that joy is the internal knowing that can be present even when we're sad. So joy is much deeper, much deeper than the outer enthusiasm and bliss and all that stuff. It's not, if you look at it from a deeply spiritual standpoint, it really goes deep. Some say the difference between joy and happiness is this. Joy is internal, as espoused by Henri Nouwen, and happiness is dependent on external circumstances. Some people think that there's really a big difference. I say that even happiness is an inside job. There's nobody in this world who is responsible for your happiness. Spiritually, absolutely not. I believe that joy and happiness are also driven by gratitude. So, how does one get this joy that we're talking about? Well, first of all, you don't get it. You don't find it. You don't go out and buy it. It's already here. It's a matter of uncovering it. It's a matter of discovering it. To get off your own hose, dancing in sand. Joy, laughter, rejoicing, enthusiasm, all of these words come to mind when you try to understand that deeper something, that thing that's deep in there, that even if we're sad or mad or upset, that still is not going to leave us. I say that life takes you at your own evaluation. So what you think of yourself is really important, because life will give back to you what you put out. God has never limited man. I don't care what anybody says. God never limits us. We only limit ourselves. So that's why it's very important to remember God is always inspiring us. So if God is for you, you'd better be for yourself, right? I say that our future is self-determined. They say that if anybody has an issue or a problem that they're dealing with, that about 60% of our thinking, our talking, our feeling, all the details about the problem are in our minds that much. 60% of our time. If there's an issue going on in life, it seems to be like more than half the time. You're talking about your problem. So I say, stop it! Just stop! I say that to myself all the time. Just stop, it's okay. It's going to be all right. According to Raymond Charles Barker, who is not a serial killer, by the way. You know, serial killers usually have 3 names. So when I said to myself, when I was looking at this and reading it out loud to myself, I said, oh gosh, that sounds like I'm quoting a serial killer. Raymond Charles Barker is not a serial killer. He's actually a New Thought writer. He's written many, many books. I don't know why he has to go by all 3 names. But he says that there are 4 major fields of human experience. Health, wealth, love, and self-expression. So what do we do when we've got a problem? It's in one of those 4 areas. So we've got sickness, lack of money, unhappy personal relationships, and frustration in our work. So instead of giving your problems your complete and 100% attention, I say gold key them. Most people are familiar with Emmett Fox's idea of gold keying, which he says, think about God instead. So, and I think, well, if you don't really know anything about God, or you can't like come up with something in the moment, think of your good instead. Which means start saying gratefulnesses to yourself out loud, or in your mind, depending on where you are. Just be grateful, because what that does is that brings that your good to you, it brings your good to your mind, and you're not thinking about your issue anymore. So the question becomes, what are you focusing on? What are you actually even aware of? Let's do a little experiment. So a woman named Anita Moorjani wrote a book called Dying to Be Me. She was dead for quite a while and came back to life in the hospital room. And so she had a near-death experience. And so this little exercise comes from her. Okay. Let me see what I can find. Okay. What I would like for you to do is look around the room and commit to memory 3 things that are red. Look around the room and commit to memory 3 things that are red. There's lots of red in this room. I want you to look around. Okay, commit them to memory. You got it? Okay, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Now open your eyes and tell me what's green.
Behind you?
But you didn't focus on green. And yes, there is greenery behind me. But in reality, when I said look at the red and commit the red, you couldn't instantly come up with anything green because you weren't focusing on the green. You weren't looking at it. You weren't looking for it. You were just looking for things that are red. Your flash of your awareness, whatever you flash your awareness on, actually becomes your reality. So what are you looking at, your problems or your good? So it's kind of like this. So you're in a big dark place. It's like pitch black, but you have a flashlight. And so you're shining that flashlight around, but the beam of the flashlight is really, really tiny and very pinpointed. So wherever you flash that little beam of light on, that's what you see. That's what you're aware of. Now somebody turns on the lights and you find that you are in a gigantic warehouse. And there's so much around you that you can actually see everything that's in this gigantic room. And then it goes black again. You might not be able to see everything outside that little awareness of that flashlight, but now you know that it exists. So know that your good exists even if you can't see it in the flashlight. It's there. It's around you all the time. We just are not consciously aware of it most of the time. So that's why even the small amount of good that you can find in your life, it will expand if you focus on that and not on what's wrong. So Anita Morjani says, let's focus on wellness awareness and not cancer awareness. There's so many things on TV and so many benefits that they want to have and so many marches. But the thing they're marching for, instead of it being a more positive, it's cancer awareness 5K or 10K. So let's not focus on that. Or having a march against war. Well, how about a peace rally instead? Let's have the word peace in there, not the word war. So she's just talking about focus and awareness. So the things that she learned from her near-death experience actually are the kinds of things that many people have written books about. She says, focus on loving yourself first, then others, and teach others how to treat you. Because how we allow people to treat us is how we teach them to treat us. She says, live your life fearlessly. Humor, laughter, and joy are some of the most important qualities of our life. She says, life is a gift, always. Even when we have challenges, and even when we think life is a chore, it's still a gift. So she says, please don't see your life as a chore. And she says, always be yourself. Because each person is unique. There's nobody quite like Anne. There's nobody quite like Kate. Or Jenny. Or Pam. So everybody's different. And that's exciting. And that's wonderful to know. Okay, so you hear people talk about speaking optimistically, and some people call that Pollyanna thinking. Well, thinking good thoughts is always better than thinking negative thoughts. It's very important. But what's more important is what lies underneath those thoughts. Do you actually believe what you're saying to yourself? This is where spiritual therapy comes in. In New Thought, they call it treatment, which means by the law of mind action, we actually change the energy of the thought so that we can actually realize our oneness and come to that place of wholeness. When we realize this, we can be at peace. And then we can move into that actual, authentic place of joy and happiness. So what did Jesus teach us about this? He taught us to feel that upward pull of the divine within. He taught and demonstrated this good news. Every person is a spiritual being with the built-in potentialities of the kingdom within, and with the Father's good pleasure to unfold and express those potentialities. They're already here. You don't have to go looking for them. The word gospel actually means God spell. I propose that we are all under the God spell. Jesus was saying, hey, listen, I am not the only divine one here. I'm here to teach you how to uncover your divinity, to show you that you are under a God spell, and we are all uniquely expressing God. You have something going for you. That's really exciting news. There is a God spell upon you. It is like the upward pull of the sun on a sunflower that causes the blossoms to open up this way and face the sun. This doesn't mean that God's up there. The up I'm talking about for us, for our spirit, is within. Jesus taught that every person is an eachness within the allness of God. We are all an integral part of the universe. You are the focus of God's infinite idea. I like that. So, when you catch this idea of the God spell, you will realize that divine sonship is not the projection into you of something that's not like you. You are not an individual in God, but a unique individualization of God. With the God spell all wrapped within and inseparable from you. Now, when I say that you are an individualization of God, it doesn't mean you're God. You can't change, you're not going to change the weather, you're not going to make the seas part. Each one of us has a uniqueness about us that makes us us. I think this is a really exciting concept. Although you may be struggling to achieve something or to acquire something within yourself, you actually already have it. So the focus is on the good. Always on the good. So I'm going to say stop trying to get it and just let it. Focus on the good. Let go of the tension and the stress to try to get something. And just know your oneness with God. That God is here and I am here. Feel the life, the substance, and the intelligence of God streaming through you out into the world. It doesn't come from out there to come in. It's already here, and we want to let it out. Know that this is the ceaseless longing of the Creator to fulfill its divine pattern of the Christ in you, as you. So I say, let's choose joy and happiness, and let's live on purpose. So let's get still for just a moment. Let us pray. A power is in all of us right now, waiting to be released into the creative action, which is our natural birthright. All the love there is in the world is in us and around us in this instant. All the health there is in the world is ours now and is waiting only for the revelation of the perfect you, which is covered by the ailing you. There is a perfect you to be uncovered. All the riches we need in the world are ours now. They wait only our acceptance of them. The creative drive we have always had is now in action. It is calling us to let it out, if we would just take the time to listen. This creative drive is waiting for us to let it shine before all the world that will receive us with love and warmth and joy, since we and creation are one, inseparable, and eternal. Amen.
Amen.
Bells now.
Everybody good?
Ready?
Hope so.
Now it's time for the blessing of the gifts. If the ushers will please bring the baskets forward. And please recite after me, or with me. Today, I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance in me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent, blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have the prayer basket here that has names in it that people have put in over the last couple of weeks. And if you feel like you would like to take a name or a couple of names home from this basket and pray for those people, that would be wonderful. If you'd like to do that. We all know that praying for others is also good for us. Pass it down.
Good morning.
Morning, Jan.
Okay, bells were great. We could just do that for the whole service. So we might have to do that next year for the whole service. Anyhow, a few announcements here. Well, first off, did everybody have a good time last night?
Yeah.
Woo!
You got this. Lingerie.
Merry Christmas. Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
We did have a good time. We found out we have some new Christmas songs we didn't know about.
Animal.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. It was good, and we appreciate Kate and Pam and Wendy and everybody else that helped make it a success.
Really worked hard.
They
Put
did.
together a great program.
They did. So we're looking forward to next year. And Kate and I were talking about that last night. It seems like we just did the events calendar. Now it's time to do it again. So we will have some new and exciting things coming up next year. We'll have, we got Wendy and Pam to help us. So, you know, Pam Woods is going to have some ideas out there. So you know how that is. Anyhow, we're looking forward to that. And so everybody had a good time last night and had plenty to eat. And there's plenty left over, so make sure you come next door. Don't make any lunch plans. Go next door and finish up what we have over there. The Christmas tree in the annex, we're collecting hats and mittens for the homeless kids in the Roanoke City schools, but also we have other list of items that we put in orders of service that we're collecting. I'll probably collect it too next week and probably take it the week of Christmas and distribute it to school or wherever I have to take it. So, and also we're collecting the stuffed animals. As always, we take those down to the Ram House the week of Christmas for the kids that show up there on Christmas Eve. So if you have any that you want to donate, that would be great. Our board meeting is tomorrow evening at 4 o'clock in the annex. Everyone is welcome, so feel free to come. Starts right at 4 o'clock. They're short and sweet, not like they used to be 2 or 3 hours long, so we make them as short as possible. So anyhow, feel free to come to that. Also, at the end of the month, December the 31st, the last Sunday in the month, we will have our regular congregation meeting after the service. So also picking up poinsettias this week, so anybody that's sponsored a poinsettia, you need to see that you pay Laurel. She's not here, so I guess you'll pay me today if you can. If not, she'll collect it next week, but we need to have that money so she can pay that bill. Wanted to give an update. Marita, as most of you know, or some of you do, Marita wasn't here last night. She and people were asking, but anyhow, some of you know this. Mark, her son, his mother-in-law had a massive stroke a couple of weeks ago, and Marita and Eddie have gone up there Maria called me this morning to give me an update. She actually thought that the lady was going to pass this week, and she did not. So they're leaving this morning to go to Lori's to celebrate Lori's birthday, and then they're going back to Pennsylvania. So she doesn't really know when she'll be home, but she said that Nancy, Mark's wife, is having a really hard time. So she just lost her father within the last year. So anyhow, just keep that family in prayer because they're having a struggle there. So just wanted to, I told her I would let everybody know what was going on. This week's flowers are for Valerie for her birthday, but she's not here, so I'll see that she gets them. Her birthday's the last of the month, so we'll see that she gets that. There's no Wednesday night class until after the holidays, so Maria canceled all that until after the holidays. We're still having our coffee at Wednesday night at Mill Mountain, and we're still having our Thursday night chit-chat class here on Thursday nights. I think that's it.
Don't forget the breakfast and ice cream place.
Oh yeah, the breakfast place has opened. They opened last Friday. The ice cream place, they opened a month ago.
Regular hours, 12 to 9.
12 to 9, okay.
12 to 9.
Okay, all right. The breakfast place is open from 7 to 3 every day, and it opened this past Friday, so I just want to let everybody know that that's, and we'll probably after the first of the year be planning breakfast up there sometime after the holidays, so we can all have dinner out. Also, Famous Toastery. Also, next Sunday, normally we have a potluck on the third Sunday. Everybody has all their holiday stuff to do and cooking and everything, so we decided that after church next Sunday, anybody wants to, we'll go to Brambleton Deli for lunch. So you don't have to, we're trying to make this as stress-free holiday as possible. So anyhow, so anybody wants to go to lunch next week after lunch, after church, we will go to Brambleton Deli. Okay? Anybody else got anything on this? I hope everybody throws things at me. And I apologize, there's something going on with the heat. It just wouldn't go up this morning. It's still blowing out cold air, so we'll try to take care of that tomorrow so that come next Sunday you'll be able to play. So anyhow, I apologize for that today. I came in this morning and it was on 58 and it just wouldn't go up. So anyhow, put your gloves on. Go next door because it's warm over there.
Our closing hymn is number 28. It came upon a midnight clear, verses 1 and 2. That's hymn number 28, verses 1 and 2.
Oh, don't bow your heads. Come on. Look around at everyone.
God ain't there.
Say, look around at everyone's wonderful, joyous, smiling face. That's what we want to see.
Okay.
God is in that smile. Thank you, Jill. God is in that smile. God is in our hearts. We go through the week smiling and joyous wherever we go, whoever we meet. This is the Christmas holiday, which is one of the most stressful months of the entire year. People are stressed over what to buy, and what are they supposed to get, and where it's supposed to go, and being with family that they can't stand. They need to make dysfunctional Christmas cards. Right? So we're not going to focus on the dysfunction. We're going to focus on the functioning, wonderful good that is in our lives, even if we can't see it. We know it's there. We know it's there. So let's focus on the good wherever we go. And let's lighten up and brighten up the world and everybody that we come in contact with, no matter where we are. And we say amen and yay God to that. Woo! All right.